This podcast is independently produced and made for entertainment and educational purposes. Sources and references are linked in the show notes. Welcome to Brew and Steep, a podcast to help you get started in your morning like an iced, highly caffeinated coffee, or to wind down with before bed with a hot cup of tea. I'm your host, Sophie Tice, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite drinks, boba tea. To accompany me during this episode, I have myself a little bit of a tiger milk tea, where we're going to dive into kind of the specifics of what does that even mean. But you may know boba tea as bubble tea, pearl milk tea, tapioca tea, or simply boba. But if you're anything like me, I have a slight obsession in asking why something is the way it is. So why is boba so good? Where does it come from? And how did it become so popular around the world? Originating from Taiwan in the 1980s, boba tea in its traditional form is a tea-based drink that usually consists of brewed tea, of course, milk or creamer, sugar or syrup, ice, and chewy tapioca balls that sink to the bottom of the cup. These tapioca balls are also called boba or pearls, and they are made from the starch of the root plant cassava. When cooked, they get doused in a simple syrup, typically brown sugar syrup. Now, there are some more things you'll encounter when getting boba tea. Drinks are always accompanied by a wide straw that allows you to suck up the pearls along with the liquid of the tea. You'll also find something that most have never seen in any other beverages that kind of add a interactivity to your drink. Sealed lids that you jab your straw into. Reasons for this method include to protect your drink from spilling, obviously, that's a good one, but also to maintain freshness, improve efficiency for boba shops, mixing your drink, and the most iconic reason, getting to pierce through that thin piece of plastic that gives that nostalgic feeling of opening like a juice box or something like that. It's just so satisfying. Boba has a wide variety with flavors, toppings, boba pearls, but we'll get there soon. Despite boba growing as one of the staple drinks of the late 2010s and 2020s, its exact origins are disputed. It's the mid-1980s. The tea house Taipei is bringing in its fair share of customers near the heart of Taichung City, Taiwan. Around 1,817,000 people claim residency to the overall city population at the time, but one in particular seems to have a golden ticket up his sleeve, and his name is Liu Hanque. Liu owns Taipei Tea House, and in its growing popularity decides to incorporate iced drinks into their menu. Liu had recently visited Japan and was inspired by the iced coffee he saw being sold and, well, decided to experiment with some cold tea drinks. He knew that hot drinks were more common and incorporating iced drinks could make his store stand out. It's now 1986, and Taipei's product development manager, Lin Juhui, is attending a staff meeting. The meeting is dragging on, and as most of us would feel, she gets bored. Fueled by boredom and most certainly a spark of inspiration, she actually pours cooked tapioca balls into her tea purely for her and her colleagues' entertainment. Here's the thing though, everyone loves it. Taipei Tea House then begins serving iced teas with fruit flavorings and tapioca balls, and so boba tea was born. Except there's another version of the story. We're still in 1986, which makes it understandable that there isn't a clear answer as to who was the first to make the boba tea as we know today. 153 kilometers, or 95 miles, south of Taichung City is Tu Song-hee, a man who decides to join in on the rise in the tea shop boom and opens his own tea shop called Hanlin Tea Room in Tainan City. During a trip to the local market, he was suddenly inspired by a sale he saw for white-colored tapioca balls. After buying some, he brought them home and started to experiment. He put some of the tapioca into some milk tea, and voila, he had what we now know as bubble tea. Even though we are more familiar with boba being a blackish brown color, the white tapioca pearls can actually still be enjoyed at Hanlin tea rooms to this day. Regardless of who invented it first, boba tea soon spread throughout Taiwan and became a popular street drink. It appealed to young people who enjoyed its sweet taste, refreshing coolness, and fun texture. Boba culture also developed around different varieties and flavors of boba tea, such as fruit boba made with fruit powders, or syrups instead of milk, toppings other than tapioca balls, such as grass jelly or red beans, or my top favorite, coffee jelly, and different types of teas such as black, green, and oolong tea. In the 1990s, Taiwanese immigrants brought boba tea to other countries where there was a large East Asian population. The first bubble tea shops to opened in California cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, but that was before it started to spread to other states like New York and Texas. Boba tea also became popular in countries other than the United States and Taiwan, of course, like China, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, Canada, Germany, France, you name it. And it also comes with a bunch of different names, of course. China, it's known as Jinjunaicha. Japan, it's known as tapioca. Some places it's known as pearl milk, bubble cup, pearl shake, or in Germany, Purenmilch and many more. Now you can find boba shops in nearly every moderately sized city in the United States, including chains of the previously mentioned Hanlin tea rooms in California. Today, boba tea is one of the most popular drinks in the world among people of all ages and backgrounds. It has inspired many innovations, such as cheese foam toppings, brown sugar syrup toppings, and all that. Boba pearls that pop with juice inside. They're not my favorite. I like the traditional ones, but everyone has their own variety that they can customize to. Also slushies, smoothies, lattes, cocktails, ice cream, candy, cakes, cookies, the list goes on. I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen alcohol-filled bursting boba at this point, but maybe it does exist. I just have to go digging a little bit more. There are also hundreds, if not thousands, of bubble tea chains that offer customized options for customers, such as choosing their own level of sweetness or milkiness, their preferred type of base liquid, such as water or soy milk, their desired flavor, such as blueberry or avocado, or their preferred topping, such as pudding, cheese foam, or, of course, coffee jelly. One kind of boba tea is one that is arguably the quintessential icon of the beverage, tiger milk tea, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. It is a brown sugar-based cup of boba tea, and it's drizzled with brown sugar syrup, the same that the boba is typically drowned in, and it gives it a striped look, hence the name tiger milk tea. So, what makes boba tea so appealing, though? Well, according to Ben Chen, founder of Boba Guys, one of America's most successful boba tea chains, says this, quote, "Bubble tea has ballooned in popularity because it's lighter, sweeter, and more fun than your average tea thanks to the tapioca balls," end quote. He also adds on that the sheer number of choices is just so appealing to people, which I agree with him completely on that. Boba tea is not just a drink, but an experience. It's delicious, refreshing, satisfying, versatile, customizable. It's just so enjoyable because it is so customizable in that sense. And unless you don't happen to like tapioca, you might not enjoy boba tea, but even then, you don't even have to include the tapioca in your drink. I know a lot of people I know don't like the traditional kind of tapioca pearls, but they actually prefer the exploding boba or the bursting boba, or have different things like the coffee jelly instead as a replacement, because like I said, it's so customizable that you can make it what you want. That built on to another aspect of boba that helped it grow in popularity is the novelty. Around 2016-2017, a trend of light bulb drinks were showing up on aesthetic Instagram accounts and Tumblr pages. This is where I was introduced to the idea of boba. I was so jealous that this really aesthetic looking drink was something that was not available anywhere near me. Eventually though, the shops started to pop up, of course, but boba has always had a thing to it. The experience isn't just going into a shop and ordering. One shop might have novelty cups that you can pose with for your social media. Another may deliver you your boba by a mysterious hand that reaches through a curtain inside a tiger's mouth. This novelty is why so many people love to keep going back for more. One last thing to add about boba tea that I just thought was really interesting. There's a lot of national days that happen throughout the year, right? And boba tea, or bubble tea, actually has its own, and that's upcoming at the end of the month of me recording this. So National Bubble Tea Day is April 30th, so if it's been a while, or maybe you've been meaning to try bubble tea for the first time, maybe this is your sign on April 30th to maybe go try some bubble tea. But all that is left to know now is what could be the next thing that could come close to topping boba tea. I'm Sophie. Thanks for listening to Brew and Stew.